Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Ulises Sambrano, and on behalf of Kevin Weiss, we are the hosts of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on social media like Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can always email us your thoughts, concerns, issues like people did this whole past week. And we created 2 mailbag episodes at lockedonrays@gmail.com. And like I just said, yes, this is part 2 of the mailbag episodes. We usually just have the one on the week, but you guys were really, you really listened to our call to action, and we really appreciate that. So we wanted to get back those answers to you as quick as possible. We love interacting with you guys because you make this vessel that is Locked On Rays more for you. And that's what we want, just giving the fans' voice a little bit of a platform. And we really enjoy the back and forth. So thank you so much for doing that. Now, without further ado, let's get started on this virtual mailbag. The first one comes from Rachel from Tampa, Florida, who says, "Hi there. I stumbled across your podcast a few weeks ago. I enjoy listening to you guys. I have a question for you, though. Do you think the injuries is what's killing the Rays? And oh my goodness, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you think the injuries is what's killing the Rays bullpen and the rotation? If so, why?" Well, thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for listening to us. I'm glad you found us. This is so great. I'm just going to do a little aside here before answering that question. If you are a Rays fan and you enjoy this podcast and you have other Rays fans, tell them about this podcast, please and thank you, because it's so nice to hear that people are still finding out about us, because it's really rewarding. It's really rewarding to do what we do and find out that other people enjoy it too. So please share the love, and maybe, just maybe, we can get to a big number on YouTube. I think we're right now at 323 subscribers. So, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's awesome. Okay, going back to Rachel's question on the injuries. Do you think that that's what's killing the Rays? Yes. Short answer is yes. And why is it a yes? Because I can give you almost a whole pitching staff worth of guys on the IL right now. Let's start with another rotation. Imagine in a world where, an alternate universe where these guys are healthy and this is a rotation. Glasnow, Boz, Yarbrough, Chirinos, and McKay. It's a whole full rotation right there that's sitting in the rehab room. And then you go to the bullpen. You go to the stable. Diti Chagua, Pete Fairbanks, Nick Anderson. 3 high leverage guys that you cannot use. Just can't. So it's been difficult. And we alluded to that this on Monday's episode, where, Javi Guerra was DFA'd. Duggar, who covered, I think, 5 1/3, 87 pitches or so against the Twins on Sunday. The depth has been tested. And I wouldn't say coming up short, because the record shows that this is above 500 of a team, but it's getting tested. Let's just put it that way. I think that's the best way it's been tested, and I don't know how much further can it be tested and still have good results, because who else is there to take the ball if somebody else gets hurt. Honestly, like you're not going out there for a starting pitcher, not in this economy. So what would you do? Are you going to poach from your AAA in Durham, Ian Seymour? Of course, like Kevin says, he's my boy. He could get the call up. You got Romero, of course. I I just I cannot see an unhealthy May for this pitching staff at all this month. You got to stay healthy in May. It's been too many, too quick, too often. Enough. Hopefully, the Rays can kind of stave off some IL stints until maybe July, But really, a clean May of no injuries, nothing major would do this pitching staff a whole lot of good because again, I give you a whole rotation, Rachel, and 3 high leverage arms. Yes, of course, this is definitely impacting what we're seeing on the standings, on the results, on the day-to-day games where you just don't have it. And by don't have it is not putting guys in the position to succeed. Because you, for example, don't have a Chagua in the bullpen, maybe you're not really putting the Javi Guerras, the Dougies in the right position to succeed. You know, that's the issue. When you're missing a couple pieces, now everybody has to step up, and when they don't meet that criteria, well, then you start to see games like in the Oakland series, like in the Twins series, and you want to minimize those because a 5-4 homestand that they just had, that's not going to cut it. Maybe you can get to the playoffs, but that's not a division winning style of baseball, and that's what the Rays are about. They're about winning the division. You've done it twice, back-to-back years. I don't see why you wouldn't want that for a third year. At least go for it. But with these injuries in the pitching staff, it's going to make it much, much harder to do so. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully guys can come back. Again, all of those names, Boz, mid-June, Chirinos, early July, McKay, maybe July. So again, you need a healthy, clean May so that when June comes around, then you already know the date when a Shane Boz can come in, when a Luis Patino can come in. I didn't even mention Luis Patino, Rachel. For what? Luis Patino, hello. So that's crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff. So I think we need to hopefully get a little bit of a healthy break here, because if we don't, things could possibly get worse, and we don't want to see that. But before we keep going with this, I gotta tell you about Blue Nile. And if you don't know what Blue Nile is, well, I'll tell you right now. It's the original online jeweler. Okay. At BlueNile.com, you can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams to gifting a classic and timeless jewelry piece for your mom, because Mother's Day is actually really close by, guys. Don't tell mom, but if you haven't really shopped for her yet, well, now's the time to do it. And you can do it at BlueNile.com. This Mother's Day, you can gift her something that she will treasure forever. And that is something that will always resonate with your mother. Okay. So on BlueNile.com, you can use Locked On Sports as the code, and it gets $50 to up to $500. Okay. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day. So again, use code Locked On for all you Locked On Sports listeners. Code Locked On, and every order is insured. It ships free and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So again, that's BlueNile.com, and that's code Locked On. Now, let's keep going with this mailbag episode here. This is a fun one. Because I don't think we've ever had this question before, and I really like it. It's from a longtime listener, Ty McCann, who says the Rays seem to do a lot of unconventional things. Why not bring back captains and the big C on the jersey? If you were to pick a captain on this team for this season, who would you pick? Great question, Ty. Great question, Ty. I can tell you that I had a little bit of an issue with coming up with my answer because, in all honesty, I wouldn't have put this guy on the list in the off season. But seeing as the season has already started, you got to give. First of all, I'm going to give you two answers because I'm going to cheat in this answer because, I mean, you're not here, so you can't tell me no. So I'll do it. I'll give you two answers. Number one, you got to give it to KK. You got to give it to KK because I think that being the face of the franchise, being the guy with the platinum glove, the center field position, he's the link between the quote unquote old Rays, the Evan Longoria Rays, and then being the mainstay and the new guy for this new Rays of 2019 to 2022. I feel like him being that link is very special for Rays fandom and for that clubhouse. And so I do think that if there was a C wearing jersey, it would be worn by Kevin Kiermaier, by Indiana boy Kevin Kiermaier. Now, my second option, this might be a little bit odd because I don't think that it's a lot of people would put I think too much pressure on him. But Wander Franco, I mean, you're the shortstop. You were just given 182 million. Not given. No. He earned it. So let me say that again. He earned $182 million for an 11-year contract, up to worth 225 for a dozen years. He earned that. If you're willing to do that for a guy, I'm pretty sure you're also willing to put a little bit more fabric on his jersey, put a little bit of a C on there, and say, hey, bud, you're the captain of this team. We expect you to be the captain of this team for a long, long time. That's the way I see it. It has to be KK or Wander Franco because other guys, they're transient, right? I mean, how many other guys could you say, oh, wear this C because you're going to be here for the long haul? I don't even think Brendan Lau might even complete all of his long-term friendly contract with the team. So that's 2026, 2027. I mean, he still has plenty of baseball after that. So I don't think that he's there for the long run. They might even, flip him for some prospects in 3 to 4 years. So we'll see. But I don't see another guy that would wear that. Again, Randy Arozarena, he's gone in 2 to 3 years because of Scott Boras is his agent. You know that's not going to fly with in Tampa or in Tampa Bay rather. Pitchers, you can't have a pitcher wear a C for captain when you're only towing the rubber 30 times a year. You can't. You got to go with a position player. Right? So I guess the best third option would be Mike Zunino. Mike Zunino would be a very interesting third option. Of course, he's the catcher. He talks to all the pitchers, but he's also that link between pitchers and position players. So he actually could have a good voice in the room. He knows what pitchers are about. He knows what they do, the grind that they go through, and he also knows what the grind and what the position players go through as well. So that would be, I guess, my podium. I always like to answer these with a podium type of result, 1, 2, 3. So those would be my 1, 2, 3 guys. That would be KK, Wander Franco, and then Mike Zunino. But again, with Mike Zunino, how long can he stay wearing a Rays uniform? That's maybe they sign him to a long-term deal. I don't know. I think he likes Florida. He's a Florida man. Does he want to stay close by to where he grew up? Maybe so. But I guess that'll be a topic for maybe another time. But thank you so much, Ty, because that was a really fun answer, and we'll see what Kevin thinks. I would like to know what he thinks of that question, because that's honestly a really, really fun one to ask him. Now, you know what's really fun too is having real 100% chocolate in your mouth. That's really fun. And it's even funner when you're not getting the bad calories surrounding it. That's Built Bars. You know it. I know it. Kevin's not here, and he knows it too. Okay? Built.com. You guys got to go to built.com. Look at all the flavors that they have to offer. They are all delicious. You know me. I like peanut butter brownie. Mint chocolate's also a favorite. You've got the puffs, which are marshmallow flavored too. So, I mean, you've got endless opportunities to get hooked on Built Bars. And you start by getting hooked on them by going to built.com. And when you go to built.com, you use promo code LOCKED15, and that's going to save you 15% or more at built.com. So again, go to built.com, choose all the flavors that you want, use promo code LOCKED15, and that's going to save you 15% at built.com. Let's move on to our third and last mailbag question of the day. This one is brought to you by Argenis Rashad, who is also, this is a tricky fandom Argenis has. He is a Locked On Astros listener who, when he saw Locked On Rays and Locked On Astros do a crossover, he really liked what Kevin and I were bringing to the table, and he is now an also faithful listener to Locked On Rays. So we really appreciate Argenis always for commenting and being around the social media sphere. He says, "Hi guys, not the first time writing, but it might be the first one. My message will be up. My question is about Kevin's comment back to the ranking the AL East rotations episode. He described the Rays rotation as one that doesn't strike a ton of fear. Back then, Shane Baz had just gotten injured, but Patino and Yarbs were still unharmed too. As of today, Patino and Yarbs have not shown up because of injury. McClanahan, Rasmussen, and Kluber have lived up to expectations and even went a little bit higher than that, given strong and solid performances. What I want to know is if Kevin still stands by his comment or if he has changed his mind. Thanks for reading. Raise up." Well, thank you, Argenis. Kevin's not here, so I can't answer for him. But I do remember the episode that you're talking about, and I understood where he was coming from when he said that they didn't strike a ton of fear. And that's understandable, because it's a bunch of rookie guys that you don't have a lot of experience in tight postseason times. I mean, we all saw 2021. The moment maybe got a little bit bigger for Shane McClanahan. It got big for Shane Baz. It got big for Drew Rasmussen. All of those guys just kind of had a little bit of a tough time in October. But I think the ceiling is there. I think the potential for this to be a scary rotation is certainly there. And I think we could see it become scary as soon as by the end of this year. Because if Patino comes back in June, July, and you have a Yarbrough that is rebounding from a god-awful 2021 season, at least results-wise, you have a Shane Baz with a Patino, with a Yarbrough, with a McClanahan, with a Rasmussen. And McClanahan has looked phenomenal, at least with the whiffs and the chase and going deep. I mean, really, he has looked the part of a really good ace of a staff, and possibly an ace in the future. We also talked about the difference between aces and a top-of-the-line starter for your own rotation. I think he's a top-of-the-line rotation guy for the Rays. He's still to become an ace. He definitely has the makeup and the likelihood of becoming an ace in the future. So by the end of this year, you have McClanahan, Rasmussen, Kluber all going in gear, and then you add a Patino and a Baz and a Yarbs, possibly as a six-man rotation or as a bulk guy to just get in there, or maybe a stable, a guy in the bullpen. I still think it could strike fear, but I understand Kevin's comment because when there's inexperience, when there hasn't been a guy who has thrown more than 110 innings in that rotation in all of their MLB history, except for Kluber, who, by the way, only threw 80 innings last year with the Yankees. Is he going to get hurt too? I know that's one of Evan Klosky's big considerations for this rotation, is that he doesn't know if Kluber is going to be healthy for the whole year. So when you put all of those question marks together, yes, I understand where Kevin is coming from when he says they don't strike fear, but I think they can. I think they can, as long as when they come back, there are no more big injuries. I mean, you can't have another Luis Patino injury in that rotation. You can have another Shane Baz rotation injury there. Like you just can't have that. Even Glass now has even said that he could potentially be back late August, early September. Obviously not as a starter, but he could come back as a bullpen guy, as a one-inning guy. That would be exciting. I mean, we saw what Blake Snell did in against the Astros, against our Genesis Astros in the 2019 ALDS Game 4, where he saved that game, where he closed it out, Blake Snell. So it would be nice. It would be kind of neat to see Tyler Glass now in that John Smoltz type of vibe, the starter who became a closer. And maybe, he stays as a closer. Maybe he goes back as a starter. Who knows? But that would be fun. That would be really fun to see. I don't think they strike a lot of fear right now, except for McClanahan. Rasmussen did look really sharp and clean against, was it the Twins when he did that 9 strikeout outing? He looked really good. I know he's going against the A's, and this has been recorded before that Oakland series because those late night games will get you. So I hope that Rasmussen did have a really good showing, and then you can kind of put on top of his last performance those Ks in those innings. But Argenis, I think this rotation has definitely the quality and the expectations to be feared. They just not might be feared as a unit just yet, but that'll come, and I think it will. And I think most Rays fans do feel confident that there are quality guys up there. It's just you gotta have patience for the other ones to get healthy. Because yes, is Fleming and Yarbrough, are they major league pitchers? Yeah, they are. But would you not rather have a Shane Baz and a Luis Patino? Then yeah, the stuff matters. Stuff matters. So that'll come with time. So you just got to hold on, be patient, and hopefully good things can happen. Just like that alarm that had been annoying me for the last 12 minutes has finally shut off. So there it is. Guys, guess what? I went the distance. Not a bulk guy. You can call me a starter now. Win the whole episode. Back-to-back episodes. That's on you. That's on me. That's on Kevin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to us, for watching us, for subscribing on YouTube. Really, that means so much to us that you're subscribing. We love to see that number grow one by one every day on YouTube. It really makes us happy. So we're, I think, 324 now, 325. It's a slow climb up, but we do want to get that 1,000 OPS very, very soon. Maybe it takes the whole season, but it'll be fun to do that with you guys. So again, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. It means a lot to us. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. It is also free and available on all platforms. Please stay safe. Enjoy. Let's get some Rays wins. And you'll see your Indiana boy, Kevin Weiss, very soon on Thursday. Until then, Rays up.